The third battery swap partner is coming this week. Wow. And who's it gonna be? You can tell. There's NIO CEO taking the special guest around NIO houses in Shanghai to show them around. Foreigners, obviously not from China, so we can expect a brand that's not from China. All right. So this is a big hint. Porsche, Mercedes, and we're seeing lots of other potential partners to Toyota expressing interest. I recently received an email from someone that works at Ford's charging department, and they said they're trying to push very hard to adopt battery swap, which is absolutely incredible. And right now, the narrative has shifted so much to these battery swap partners. Right, there's going to be like 3 or 4 more partners coming out very soon. And this is what's getting me excited. All right, selling cars, it's tough. It's tough business. But providing swap stations, essentially gas stations to everybody, that's what's going to be very profitable in my opinion. We got some very big things happening with NIO here in China. Good and bad things. So first of all, some of the very good stuff. NIO's ES8 won the Customer Satisfaction Award for mid-large size SUVs. Very good. So did the ET7 for medium-sized sedans. And ET5T also won the German Design Award for 2024. So that is all very, very impressive. One very important thing that you guys probably missed, and it's from the earnings call, is the fact that after the company acquired the factory assets from JAC, and now it's pretty much all owned by NIO, and NIO also has its own certification finally. But the CEO said this will decrease cost of production by 10%. So this is just a huge boost. Very incredible. But some of the bad news that came with this was the fact that NIO is planning to essentially divest itself from battery production. And one thing that some of you guys asked is what's going on with the 150 kilowatt hour battery pack. We're not getting any news on that. Well, you know, it's been quite a while and still we haven't heard anything. We know that it's in the user manuals. Apparently it's going to come out soon, hopefully. Maybe by NIO Day, which is coming in like 2 to 3 weeks. So maybe by then they'll unveil it. And also that is apparently when they will also unveil the ET9, the super premium NT 3.0 car that will come out very, very soon, but available for delivery probably in 2025. So it's going to be NIO's next NT 3.0 platform, and just to get people excited about the brand again and hopefully boost deliveries of current cars that are available for sale. And also something very interesting is I'm seeing reports that BlackRock increased their holdings for NIO stock, which is very, very interesting to think about. I think in my personal opinion, the narrative for NIO stock right now has really shifted from cars to more of a battery and charging domination player. All right, because if you look at sales are just, you know, doing so, not that great. 3,700 per week. Last week, that was the number for last week, and we're not really seeing it go up to 5,000 or maybe even 4,000, but it's teetering along that line. And in my general opinion is that 2024 sales will actually be harder, be tougher because of certain policies, etc. And NIO has said in the earnings report they really haven't gone ham with the incentives yet, whereas you're seeing with a lot of the other companies like Li Auto, they're really going ham with the incentives to get people to purchase because they got a lot of money to spend. And NIO has also got quite some money to spend. And one interesting thing that we noticed is that apparently they said in the earnings that their operating cash flow is positive. So just from operations itself, it's profitable. But of course, R&D and all those kind of expenses make it unprofitable. They are spending a lot of money on infrastructure, building out swap stations and also NIO houses. And this is one incredible NIO house. It's the one at an airport. And so NIO house always served as a lounge for NIO owners, but they're opening it at an airport. And there you go. There's what it looks like. Pretty nice. You'll be able to buy NIO Life merch there. And also, there's going to be a resting area for NEO owners, and you can buy food and drinks. It'll be like a lounge for NEO owners, just like a NEO house, normal NEO house, but at the airport. This is at Shanghai Hongqiao Airport, which is incredible. And of course, they're going to get very good exposure this way as well. Now, obviously, the rent there probably isn't cheap. With all NEO houses, the rent is just astronomical for many of those big NEO houses anyways. And I tell you, the narrative right now, people investing in NEO, looking for profitability, yes, they're trying to get towards there, but I'm telling you, losing another 600 million a quarter, they're pretty far from profitability. Of course, if they cut off R&D, they get profitable, but of course, they're not going to do that. The narrative now is more like energy play. How much is NEO going to earn money-wise in the future with all the swap stations, public swap stations, all right? Not just for NEO brand, but for all these other brands. And remember, that really doesn't require so much capital investment from NEO. So that will be hugely profitable in my personal opinion. And that is the reason to buy NEO stock. Another interesting thing that they talked about on their earnings call was Europe sales, all right? Focusing more on getting things right. And I think this is absolutely correct because I don't know if you guys watched Bjorn Nyland's video of the ET5T. It was a pretty sad video to watch. All the possible things that could go wrong went wrong, and it was in his video. For example, the LiDAR getting blocked, and then not being able to use NeoPilot, and having warnings on the car saying, please wipe the LiDAR, clean the LiDAR, and then also getting stuck at the battery swap station. These are stuff that, not that good. Obviously, I've also gotten stuck at the swap station once or twice before, but it's a very rare occurrence. It doesn't happen like all the time. But the fact that he got stuck, that was pretty unlucky in terms of marketing, in my opinion. And the general complaint I see is that a lot of people complain that NEOs are way too expensive, etc. But in my opinion, it's a different tier of product. It's supposed to be more expensive than a Tesla. It is higher quality than a Tesla, and you don't have to worry about the battery going bad and switching the battery out now and then and getting new batteries. But I believe it's absolutely correct that the CEO should focus mainly on getting execution right and having a good strong foundation before worrying about sales volume in Europe. I think sales will come eventually as they deploy more swap stations and more people get to see how swap works out. Now, one thing that we do know is going to come out is battery swap station Gen 4. This is going to be amazing. It's probably going to be the public swap station, so those that are available to use by Geely and also Chang'an Motors as well, and also capable of swapping for the Alps sub-brand as well. NEO has just recently hit 2,200 swap stations, which is quite a lot considering there's only like 5,000 McDonald's here in China. So that's like every 2 McDonald's, there's going to be 1 swap station. So I think that is pretty incredible amount of swap stations. But I think, in my opinion, losses will continue to occur because of R&D, because of swap station deployment, because of opening NEO houses, etc. Sales will continue to be decent, okay, but not spectacular. All right, NEO's cars are always the best that you can buy, but not exactly reachable for most people. And my vision of a path to profitability is more about these partnerships. All right, these partnerships is what's really going to drive the path to profitability, because think about it this way. NEO can have the parts for a swap station, and NEO can charge them to essentially buy these parts. NEO gets paid once, and then NEO can also build the swap station for them, install it essentially for those other companies, get paid twice, right? And then essentially, and then you have the battery pack, which the design and configuration is done by NEO, so it's NEO's patents and everything. So every battery that goes inside, that those companies that they have to buy for the public network, they have to pay for the batteries, and essentially some of that money goes to NEO because NEO designed that battery. So paid 3 times, all right, for just 1 swap station, you get paid 3 times, and then NEO gets to operate the swap station, so that they get paid 4 times for that swap station. And the amount of money that Neil puts into that swap station is very minimal. All right. So in essence, once this starts getting up to scale, this is where all the money just comes flowing in. It's free cash flow. Neil doesn't really have to do that much to get this money. And you can imagine every time there's a swap, Neil also gets a slice of that money. Very, very nice. And best part about it, because the swap station isn't owned by Neil, Neil doesn't even have to pay rent for that swap station's location. That's handled by Gili and Chang'an and those other guys. And remember this very key point. Neil is operating those swap stations, so Neil still has the say-so about unloading power to the grid. Right? If the government wants power to the grid and they're missing some power at certain locations, they're at risk of blackout, then Neil can still do it. Right? Neil's operating those swap stations. But of course, most of the profit might go to Gili when they do such transaction, but Neil still gets a slice of the money. It's really about minimalizing how much they put in and maximizing how much they get out of it. So really, this is just spend a little but get a lot kind of deal going on in the future with these battery swap partners. So I tend to agree with a lot of you guys that are mega bullish in the long term. I'm also mega bullish in the long term. It's more about the swap partners than deliveries. All right, swap partners are more important than deliveries. That's my personal opinion. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments down below.